Welcome to The Faithful Servant, a podcast reaching you in the midst of your battles, where you can find hope, joy, wisdom, and healing. My name is Eric Howland, and at the end of the day, my hope is that I can hear the words, "Well done, my faithful servant." Well, welcome to this week's episode of The Faithful Servant. I want to start off by saying thank you to all those who let me know that I made a mistake in my podcast about patience. It was, in fact, Veruca who was the whiny girl in Willy Wonka and not Violet. So, again, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. So now let's jump right into this week's. Let's dive into talking about overcoming those obstacles in front of you. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing interviews with other people who have a story they want to share about overcoming their challenges in life. Before that, though, I want to just give an opening episode and talk about the importance of understanding those challenges before us. You know, when I look at life in general and all that we have to face on a daily basis, you've got your good moments in life. You've got your moments where you just kind of skate through. And then you've got those moments where it just feels like the world is crashing around you, or that mountain is so steep that it's too much. So those are the ones that we're going to focus on, is those challenges where you just don't know if you're going to be able to get through them. But before we get there, I've got a couple questions about those experiences. Would life be easier if we'd never experienced anything? Would we honestly be better people? Would we know what it's like to trust God? And lastly, would life actually be as fun? You know, those obstacles that we have before us that create who we are as people. That's what builds character in us. It's what gives us that attitude to persevere through life. It's also what helps us to encourage other people. And that's why I want to kind of do this series of bringing people in so that you out there can be encouraged by their story. So when you think of something you have overcome, what was your first instinct? If you're anything like me, it came down to two things usually when I'm facing this obstacle. I can convince myself it's easier to just stay on course. And the second one is I can convince myself that I don't deserve a better life. Both of them are lies. Because when we look at it, is it easier to stay on course? Well, is it easier to continue drinking, not remembering what you were doing? Is it easier to continuing to get high and forgetting your responsibilities that may come? Is it easier just to continue eating your sorrows away, knowing the risks down the road? See, those things that we look at is it's so hard to climb up that mountain that I would rather just stay where I'm at. I don't want to put in all the hard work. I'm living just fine. I'm getting by at least. Right? Isn't that what we convince ourselves of? And then when we think about the second one, do we deserve a better life? You know, I'm stuck in this relationship and it's abusive, verbally, physically. It mentally is draining. But do I deserve anything better to get out? What would my future look like if I don't have someone? So I'm going to convince myself that I'm going to just fight through this and do everything I can to just suppress my feelings and just live through it. See, those are the lies that we build up inside ourselves to prevent us from walking forward, preventing us to climb that mountain. So when we think about those lies that we've built up inside of us, you know, it does prevent us from being a better person. It does prevent us from trusting God. And it does prevent us from experiencing joy because we've trapped ourselves at that point. See, one thing you're going to hear, you know, not only just in my stories that you've heard already, but in other people's stories is at the end of the day, they're filled with joy because they're experiencing something different. They're experiencing joy because they now have value in their life and they see the value that they have. I think one of our biggest problems as a society is we've pushed down all of our feelings, all of our emotions, and we don't really know what we're worth anymore. We've allowed other people to have influence over us because we want to be liked. We allow those addictions to have power over us because dealing with the alternative of getting better just seems too daunting. I'm going to sit here right now and tell you that it is not easy work. Giving up on alcohol, giving up on drugs, putting in the time to get myself mentally right, persevering through the things that I've struggled with, either through personal relationships or the business. It's not easy. But I'm going to tell you right now, as I sit here, it was so worth all the hard work. I now live a life where I'm calm. I'm not stressed with the anxiety because I'm so trapped in my addictions of drugs. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of frustrations because the thing that a lot of people don't tell you is for every step you take forward, there's days it feels like you take 2 or 3 back. And then you have more lies coming, right? You've got those failure beliefs in you. lies. Just because you take a couple steps back just means you have to regroup yourself. But you're still further ahead than where you were, because you did take one step forward. So, as you listen over the next few episodes, I want to challenge you to put yourself in these people's shoes. Look internally. Where are you struggling? Where have you made that choice to say, it's easier if I just stay? Where in your life do you find yourself saying, I don't deserve better? Because you do. And I'm going to end with this. You may find yourself today convinced you don't deserve anything better. You may find yourself today struggling through the hard work to overcome the obstacle. You may also be at a place where you have overcome and you are experiencing the joy. My prayer is that wherever you are, you listen in and know that there is hope, and the stories you will hear over the next few episodes will give you a sense of courage to take that step forward, to realize you do deserve more. Or you may realize that the strength you need is right there, and it's exactly what you need to push through the final lap. And soon you will experience that joy of life, and you will hear the words, "Well done, my faithful servant."